Buckle up, it's the Insurance Dudes podcast.
And regardless of fault, like, how do you assess? It's all based on numbers and statistics. Like, how do you, and this is an unknown variable. Like, everything's new, so it's like we don't know the probability of this going awry.
Well, I mean, you would think that the bus is a better driver than the person.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like it can make a decision quicker than a human. It's like saying, here's your lead management system, push the button or dial manually. I mean, what's going to work better? You know, the computer.
Another good example of that is deer collisions. Okay. The computer.
Robot deer versus regular deer.
Huh?
No, Mr. Craig.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, there's so many deer collisions we see with, deputies going wide open on a chase. They hit a deer. So a car that has those sensors or is driverless is looking for an object like that to come into the road
constantly. Right.
Hits the brakes with under a tenth of a second.
Right. It's so consistent. It is just, there's no way a human is doing that. Is scanning. I mean, I'll look at my mirror once.
It's kind of a give and take too,
Yeah.
You got to give up some stuff. Yeah, but that's just an example of something that I see changing in at least our sector of insurance sooner rather than later. And we're trying to gear up for it now so that I can go to these agents and say, hey, let us help you keep this business. Because that's my goal. I don't even need to write the coverage. If I can help my agent keep his account, I don't even need to make any money on it. We've got plenty of them to go around. I just like seeing these agents win and write the business.
Yeah. I'm just curious how that will work when all the cars are driverless. It's going to be a while, right? But is there no more auto insurance, or is it a lot less? Or
is there an all? Do you think everybody's like, when are all the 1960 and further than that cars off the road? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many millions of billions of probably of cars out there. I mean, at what point do they all just say, okay, we're just going to throw them all away?
I think they'll have specialized lanes.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll just go. It'll just slowly trickles out.
We'll phase them out. Yeah, they'll be less, right?
Yeah, and then I think to what Carson's doing and stuff, it's like things change, and then you find new solutions to new problems, because anytime something changes, there's a new problem, right?
Absolutely. So, let me tell you one other funny story that I just thought of. So
I love it.
You say that cyber coverage is huge with us, with these cities and counties. And
because of the hackers.
Yeah. And
that's interesting.
No one believes us when we say you've got to buy this, like you have to. And it's cheap. I mean, $1 million for a normal city's $5,000. I mean, it's not that expensive for them compared to their policy, which is $200,000.
Right.
So this is a crazy story, and this just shows you how real this is.
Yes.
I had a small town mayor. Where was this? Somewhere. Anyway, I had a small town mayor, and his secretary came to him and said, hey, I just got an email that said we need 2,500 Bitcoin before the end of the day, or, and he said, well, you tell them to shove it where the sun doesn't shine. Like, we're not sending them anything. And they typed back promptly, no problem. But just know your lights will be going out in 5 seconds or 15 seconds. And she went and showed him that. And as soon as he read it, every light in the city hall went out.
What?
Dang.
That's some hack power.
Oh, yeah. They came in through the AC line.
Oh, wow.
It was connected to the internet. No password.
Holy moly.
So I got to hear the rest of the story.
And then what happened?
I mean, they filed a cyber claim, but they basically shut down for a couple of days until we got in there and got the systems rebuilt and all that. But, if they hadn't had cyber coverage, they'd be paying that out of pocket. I mean, we've paid cyber claims $200,000-$300,000 for some small cities.
So, right. Cause there's so many employees and all the costs involved. When something,
or just the credit cards. Think about all the credit cards they got on file for utility bills.
That's a data breach.
That's crazy. And I'm sure a lot of the cities don't have the best. I mean, as we all know that, certain industries fall a little behind with computers and technology. And as we go into this, I'm sure that they're not on the forefront of the security, so there's definitely some risk there.
They are not until they have a claim, and then they beef it up big time.
Right. Yeah, I bet.
That's just human nature, right? I'm not going to pay for it until I need
Right.
it. Then I'll never need it again. But
we're seeing more and more of those.
Crazy.
Wow.
Unreal.
The hackers.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I bet your system isn't locked down, Mr. Jason.
My system
going through your microphone.
What are you talking about, Mr. Craig? You trying to punk me out here on the dudes? This is so interesting. This is definitely something that is not a normal insurance conversation that we've had.
Well, and the more we market this stuff, the more people call us saying, "Hey, I heard about this, and we went and tried it out, and sure enough, wrote our city." I even had an employee a couple weeks ago. Actually, this was last year. Call an agent, said, "Hey, I just spoke to the county. You live in here. You seem to be a big time agent around this county. They want a quote. Can we help you do it?" And he said, "I don't know how to do that, but sure, I'll go talk to him." And this guy just got off a conference call last week with him and his team. They've written the county, the city, and the school, and we're quoting 6 cities around their agency.
Wow.
How much in premium?
The county work comp was 200. The school work comp was 180. The city package was 80. And then the other couple cities are probably 100, 120 each.
Wow.
So
he is a big deal.
So you're talking almost the size. I mean, how many people starting out, or who couldn't add another $1 million in premium? You know what I mean? Like, these are some real numbers. This is fantastic, man.
You going to write the city of Huntington Beach?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
Right now. I don't know any of them yet, but I will.
Work on that.
I will.
Just think who I know in Tucson.
And it really just helps your agency regardless. You go get involved in the Chamber of Commerce or tell the council, "Hey, this is who I am. I'm happy to help out." But you think every agent within his city knows somebody that knows someone on the government of the city or the county or the school. Yep. Everybody's got connections like that. And all it takes is just asking. And these days, we go quote against those pools for each state. And I just tell the county straight up, I say, "Look, you're probably, if you're paying $250,000 right now, just from my agent, John, walking in the door and presenting this to y'all, your premium's going to drop because you never had competition before." And every time it drops.
But that's what's crazy is that this is something that most agents probably haven't thought of, and I definitely haven't. But when you have 10 companies beating down the door for your auto insurance per person, this is a pretty, you don't have that much competition, right? This is not something that every insurance agent's like, "You know what? I'm gonna go insure the city or the college." Or
there's not much competition agent to agent because the politics and the relationships are very tough to run. I've got agents that have known the mayor since they were 2 years old, and they're 80 or they're 75. Wow. There's some serious relationships going on here, and there's some that just come in and they're really sharp agents and they're local. City wants to keep tax dollars local, they go with them. But it'd be very tough. I've probably could count the agents on one hand that write business all throughout a state without living in that community. The real competition is that state pool. They want the agent to go away. They want to go direct to the city. And you got to know, I'm going to fight them in a council meeting next week, and we're going to poke the hornet's nest on that one. But we know where their flaws are, and no one else does. So we call it out in front of the council meeting, and it'll probably get pretty heated, but we're going to tell them.
Yeah, give me some pointers, some big benefits that a local agent could say. Let's say there's somebody listening that knows somebody to talk to. Throw me some benefits of this. Gotcha. What? Yeah.
So let's say you reach out and a council member, or the city manager that You know, because I want to find that person who's the council ultimately votes on it, but a city clerk, finance, or even a risk manager, if they're big enough, is who makes that decision. We're going to let you quote, and it'll make it to council. But if I'm an agent trying to get that city representative to allow me to quote, I want to make sure they know this doesn't have to be a bid situation where they've got to do a lot of work and post it in online newspaper. I mean, they can just let our agent have a copy of the schedules, property, auto, and equipment, and apps. We can use the expiring apps from the current carrier. I mean, it's just minimal work, but the main bullet points I'd say is they're going to save money. They're going to keep business local, and it's minimal time commitment on the city. And, you know, there's the pool. If I was telling them why they should not be in the pool, I would say because you're jointly and severably liable for the years you serve in the membership of the pool. So that means they could come back. Let's say you're in the pool in 95 to 2001, and they find out that all the pipes have, you know, completely been shot for the plumbing they put in back then. Well, they might come knock on your door now in 2020 and say, hey, by the way, you remember here, you owe us about $300,000 for your membership during that time. So they can be assessed at any time, which
Brutal.
Just like cyber, people don't think about until it happens. You know, it's not insurance. You know, the pool is not regulated by the insurance commissioner. So like our pool here in Georgia, how familiar are y'all with reinsurance? I'm sure you know, but
So
just so Jason can get a good idea and the listeners go ahead and talk about that.
Mr. Craig.
Just the insurance to cover in case the pool gets a certain limit, they have reinsurance to cover there. Well, AM Best Ratings, our reinsurer for our pool here in Georgia is not even rated anymore. They went from a B to a C to not rated at all. And you tell a city attorney that, he's thinking, okay, that's not good. Because there have been pools that go out of business.
Crazy.
And we're dealing with one right now that, I'll tell you the situation. You've got COVID that came, okay? Teachers in this state are not wanting to go back to work, but they're viewed as an essential worker. Well, they're making insurance claims saying, I don't want to go back to school and you're forcing me to. Well, that's covered under communicable disease endorsement on this policy. Well, that only has a $100,000 limit. So the city or the school is required to pay anything over that. Attorneys are freaking out.
That's why it's keep all the kids home, because you could have a big problem.
Well, think about if every teacher filed a claim, you got 300 teachers and we're only paying $100K per teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, that could get ugly real quick for the school. So there's just a normal insurance carrier wouldn't do that. That's how that policy is written for that pool. But we go in and see that up front, and that's what I would argue in the meeting. You know, we have this coverage. Here's a spreadsheet that shows exactly what you have and don't have and what we offer.
And you guys could get that risk placed right now, even under the current circumstances?
Yes and no. It depends on the state. A lot of carriers don't really know how to answer that question yet because we don't know what's happening in the next couple of years with pandemics and diseases like this, you know? So I would
should all be over in a couple of weeks.
I hope maybe.
No, I'm just kidding.
But there's a lot of changes going on. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But with changes, there's opportunity, right? Like this might be the time where you can get in with the cities, and they are probably thinking about all this stuff because it's how can you not, you know?
If you just say the word save money, their eyes light up, because all these cities are struggling from the pandemic too. Loss of tax revenue, loss of all kinds of stuff. So we go in with that agent, and the city's going to save money regardless because they've never had competition with their current carrier. Unless the agent writes it already and it's with a first dollar carrier. In that case, we just give them some optional quotes to renew the coverage with, still save some money.
Crazy. So you grew up in this world, especially, you know, your dad doing this prior to this being mandatory, which is crazy. I mean, what did you think about growing up? Like this whole world, like obviously kind of boring, right? But then you're like, this is crazy. I mean, this is big time, like craziness.
I did not want to be in insurance.
That's what everybody says.
No chance.
What were you looking into?
Anything else. Did not want to be. But I graduated Auburn in 2010. So right at the end of the collapse, and really didn't have an option. I mean, I just got my licenses for life and health and P&C in school. And I worked with a couple, like State Board of Workers' Compensation for Georgia. I worked with them in college, just getting some stuff on the resume. But I didn't even like what I do now the first couple of years because it was a grind, man. We had no money, no business, no help. And then one day it just, I got bit by the sales bug of, and it's not even about what you make. It's more just winning the account.
Yeah,
and being that agent. I love seeing an agent that's never written one of these write it. You know, I mean,
yeah,
or just him being like, you know, they're nervous before the council meeting. They go in there and kill it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm sitting there behind them. You know, if it's in our state, I'll go there and sit down. And if he looks back at me, I'll stand up and answer the question. Otherwise, we'll just sit there and watch. And,
that's awesome.
You know, it gives you the chills when they vote and you realize you just sealed the deal on, you know, a big one.
What city was that in? The first one that changed your opinion on it, and you're like, this is pretty cool.
I don't know if it was a certain. Well, I guess some of the first council meetings we go to. I mean, like city. I'm trying to think of my first council meeting. I used to go when I was like 14. And I'd sit there and watch my dad present. Didn't even know what I was doing, where I was.
Right.
He just brought me along probably because, you know, my mom used to fly for Delta. She was probably out of town and he just took me with him.
Yeah.
But, and then I got a younger brother that works for me too. And then, you know, we've got a whole team of people all over that are just really
and you love it
in
now.
fact, one of my employees was a previous agent and she was, you don't mess with her. You know, when her account came up, it was let's get it done and done. And we've never had an issue with that account. She's written the county and the school for 30 years. We hired her. You're really good at this. Come on. And,
that's awesome. So with that, all that being said, and I mean, you've been through, you hated it first. Now it seems like you have a big passion for it and you guys are crushing it. What would be the number one piece of advice for any, we have a lot of insurance agents. I mean, that's our who listens besides my mom, hopefully. What piece of advice would you give some new agent coming into the insurance industry in general?
Relationships. And that's
Love
with
it.
any kind of insurance. You know, you got to have that relationship, but especially on this stuff. I tell agents, told a guy this morning, you know, he wanted to work on a county and said it's a little political stuff going on. And I said, well, we need our votes before we even quote this. Before we even present, you've got to know that you've got the votes and they're going to vote for you. So if you got 7 people on the board, make sure you have your 4 votes. Call anybody, you know, but it's that relationship, man. And it's, you know, we've talked about this with other people. It's being present in your community that goes a long ways. And people see that and not doing it just for the benefits of writing business, but just what your agency looks like as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's important too. But the relationship is what key in doing this stuff. Really, we'll take care of the rest for you. If you can go work the relationship, that's huge.
You'll close
and all my agents that write them, they have great relationships with the city. You know,
they set it up and you knock it down.
There you go.
Love it. How can people get a hold of you that are chomping at the bit?
Yeah,
they're chomping. I mean, they're chomping right now.
They can get a hold of us anytime they want. I mean, that's kind of our business motto is we answer all the time on the phone, email. Like you call us, we're going to answer. And
4 a.m.
Hey,
you call Carson and he's going to answer.
I'll be up.
What's your cell phone? Drop the cell phone so that everybody can call you.
404-406-9368.
Oh,
Call it right
wow.
now. Everybody call it right now. Say that again.
Jeez. 404-406-9368. And we, websites, Saville, Saville, publicentity.com. Here you go.
Nice.
But, we're on Facebook and all that good stuff, but all our contact info is on the website too. Call my cell. Happy to help anybody across the country in this stuff. It's really a lot of opportunity right now. It's such a unique time in history to do this.
It is. It is.
That's true.
Well,
Don't miss
Carson,
out.
yeah.
This is the year.
This is it.
The year.
This is the year of the money.
Take the opportunity.
If it's not, then bring it home with being the year of the money. Talk to Carson. I think he can make it happen.
Oh yeah.
So
Love it.
I'm trying to get you in front of our mayor. See how that works.
Hey, go work it, Greg.
Yeah, I'm putting some shoes on right now and I'm going to go over there.
He probably will too. No joke.
Yeah.
But honestly, thank you so much for coming on. Like this has been so cool.
Oh, man. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, it's so fun to learn this stuff.
Yeah. Got to play poker with Carson. He is just like the poker face, I bet. Well, cool, man. Thank you so much. We will we'll drop all that stuff in the show notes like it's hot, and we appreciate you coming on. We'll bring you on down the road if you want to come back. If
Anytime.
it wasn't too terrible, and we'll see you soon.
All right, buddy.
Thanks,
Thanks,
man.
man. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
see ya.
See ya.
Okay. Bye.
Have a good one.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
That was another awesome episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to get a little bit more action and learn how to do write 100,000 in premium
Yes.
off of even the worst internet leads, where could they go?
They can go to live.teledudes.com.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are we going to be there?
Yes, it's a weekly call that we're doing right now it's live, and it will show you the process. The entire process is super awesome.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sign up right now, live.teledudes.com.
Live.teledudes.com. That's live.teledudes.com.
Hey, Craig, there's a new community that we are starting that I cannot wait to tell everybody about. It is our live texting community where you and I are going to answer people's questions and give them free content, right?
Are you kidding me? We get to talk to them?
Yeah, which is awesome, but they have to opt in. They have to text us at 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
Nice.
Craig, are you going to respond to these texts?
I'm going to respond to them for sure. Live.
I'm into it too. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be our new texting community where we're going to get back to everybody that we can and drop some crazy content, free content, and free the calculator that you just came up with. That's right. The calling calculator, sales material. I mean, everything for insurance agents. This is it. It's the best texting community out there for insurance agents.
Well, what the heck is that number again? I can't remember it.
It's 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
I love it. I'm going to text it right now.
520-214-2219.
All right. I'll see you later, Mr. Jason.
Bye, Mr. Craig.
Wait, do they even listen to this on the radio anymore?
I love it. I love it.
Nice.
All right.